The rain drizzled relentlessly, painting the city in a dreary grey. As I stepped out of my hotel, an eerie chill ran down my spine. The streets of London were slick and shiny, the historic architecture looming ominously through the mist. My destination was the Tower of London, a place notorious for its bloody history. Over 100 executions had taken place within its walls, each one leaving an indelible mark on the ancient stones. As I made my way there, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was about to step into a world where the past and the present intermingle in the most unsettling of ways. It was my first visit to London, and despite the gloomy weather, I was thrilled. The city's rich history and cultural landmarks had always fascinated me, and now I was finally here to experience it all. I checked into a quaint hotel nestled in a quiet street, its Victorian facade a stark contrast to the modern buildings around it. The rain had dampened the city's hustle and bustle, creating an almost ghostly silence. I unpacked my bags, unable to contain my excitement for the days ahead. Little did I know my excitement would soon be tinged with a sense of dread. That evening, as I settled into my room, I found myself drawn to the window. The rain tapped a persistent rhythm against the glass, and the street lights cast long, flickering shadows. It was then that I noticed the Tower of London in the distance, its silhouette stark against the stormy sky. A strange unease crept over me, but I dismissed it as mere anticipation for the next day's adventure. The next morning the rain had not let up. It was as if the heavens were mourning the countless souls lost at the Tower of London. I arrived at the fortress, its imposing walls rising up like a sentinel of England's dark past. As I walked through the entrance, a shiver ran down my spine. The stories of ghostly apparitions and eerie occurrences began to swirl in my mind. Visitors and staff alike had reported seeing figures in period clothing, hearing disembodied voices and feeling sudden, inexplicable chills. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding as I joined a guided tour. Our guide, a stern-looking man with a deep, resonant voice, began recounting tales of the tower's gruesome history. Executions, tortures, and imprisonments had all taken place within these walls, leaving behind an atmosphere heavy with sorrow and anguish. I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease as we moved deeper into the tower. We started our tour at the Traitor's Gate, a dark and foreboding entrance through which many prisoners passed, knowing they would never leave the tower alive. The guide spoke of the countless men and women who had entered through this gate, their final moments filled with fear and despair. As he spoke, I imagined the cries of the condemned echoing through the stone corridors, a cacophony of sorrow that seemed to seep into the very walls of the tower. As the day turned to evening, the Tower of London took on an even more sinister aura. The rain had stopped, but a thick fog had settled in, enveloping the fortress in a ghostly shroud. I decided to stay for the evening tour, curious and apprehensive about the ghost stories associated with the place. The tour led us to the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, where many executed prisoners were buried, including Anne Boleyn. The guide's voice echoed eerily in the dimly lit chapel as he spoke of Anne's tragic fate. Accused of treason and adultery, she was beheaded on the orders of her husband, King Henry VIII. Her spirit, it is said, still roams the tower, her head tucked under her arm, her eyes filled with sorrow. As the guide continued his tale, I felt a sudden chill. My breath formed misty clouds in the cold air. Then I saw her. A figure in a long, flowing gown, her dark hair cascading around her shoulders. Anne Boleyn. She was as real as the stones around us, yet there was an otherworldly aura about her. Her eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a wave of sadness and fear wash over me. She began to move towards me, her steps silent and deliberate. My heart pounded in my chest as she came closer. Her expression was one of deep sorrow, and I could see the faint outline of her severed neck. She raised her hand as if reaching out to me, and I felt a bone-chilling cold seep into my very soul. Just as quickly as she had appeared, she was gone. The chapel seemed to exhale, the oppressive atmosphere lifting slightly. I stood there, shaken and breathless, unable to comprehend what I had just experienced. The encounter with Anne Boleyn left me rattled, but it was far from the only ghostly tale associated with the tower. Our guide led us to the Bloody Tower, where the young princes Edward V and his brother Richard were believed to have been murdered by their uncle, Richard III. Their pale, frightened figures have been seen clutching each other in the darkness, their spirits forever trapped in the place of their untimely death. As we stood in the narrow, dimly lit room where the princes were last seen, the guide recounted the tale of their disappearance. It was a story shrouded in mystery and intrigue, and the room felt heavy with their presence. Suddenly a cold breeze swept through the room, and I heard a faint whispering. I turned, half expecting to see the ghostly figures of the two boys. But there was nothing. The guide continued, seemingly unaware of the eerie atmosphere that had descended upon us. The White Tower, another notorious spot, is said to be haunted by the White Lady. She's often seen waving to children from a window, her presence accompanied by the overwhelming scent of cheap perfume. As we approached the White Tower, I caught a whiff of a strong floral scent that seemed out of place in the musty old fortress. I glanced up at the windows, half expecting to see a spectral figure staring back at me. My heart raced as we entered the tower, the scent lingering in the air. The guide told us of other spectral sightings. The ghost of Lady Jane Grey, who was executed at the age of 16, and the shadowy figure of Guy Fawkes, who was tortured in the tower's depths. As we descended into the lower levels of the White Tower, the air grew colder and the darkness more oppressive. The guide's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. I felt a sense of dread growing within me, each step taking us deeper into the tower's haunted past. We reached a small, dank cell where the guide paused to tell us the story of Guy Fawkes. He described the brutal torture Fawkes endured, his screams echoing through the corridors. As he spoke, I could almost hear the distant cries of pain, a chilling reminder of the tower's dark history. The atmosphere was thick with despair, and I felt an overwhelming urge to leave, but I was rooted to the spot by a morbid curiosity. The Tower of London stands as a testament to England's tumultuous history, its walls soaked in blood and sorrow. The ghostly apparitions, the chilling encounters, and the oppressive atmosphere make it one of the most haunted places in the world. Visitors today can still feel the weight of its dark past, leaving with stories that add to its legendary status. As I left the tower that evening, the fog had thickened and the fortress loomed ominously against the night sky. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that the spirits of the past were following me. The encounter with Anne Boleyn, the whispers of the murdered princes, and the lingering scent of the White Lady haunted my thoughts. The Tower of London had revealed its secrets to me, leaving me with a deep sense of unease. Do you have a ghost story of your own? Have you ever felt the icy grip of fear or seen something you couldn't explain? Share your experiences with us and delve deeper into the mysteries of haunted locations. Watch more of our videos if you dare and uncover the secrets that lie just beyond the veil of the living. The Tower of London awaits its ghosts ever watchful. If you enjoyed this journey into the haunted past, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Your support helps us uncover more ghostly secrets and bring chilling tales to light. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest adventures into the unknown. Dare to watch more. Our next tale might just be the one to send shivers down your spine. Thank you for joining us on this eerie journey. Until next time, stay curious and stay haunted.